Welcome and get ready for a front row seat on Icons with Ava Johanna, the live show that is raising the bar in the entertainment space worldwide. You're about to be right in the middle of heart-pounding conversations and real-time connection that ignite transformation within. Our global live show stars the industry's powerhouses, visionaries, and cultural icons. Together, we'll walk the path of legendary entrepreneurs, influential business moguls, celebrities, and iconic brand architects. Join the conversation, seize the opportunity to engage directly with icons of their industries, and immerse yourself in an unparalleled learning experience. Icons isn't just a show. It's an opportunity to step into the minds and hearts of industry leaders and run with their advice. So grab your popcorn because this is the space where icons are born. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Icons. I am so excited to officially be here, kicking things off. I was saying earlier today on my Instagram stories, I feel like I'm in my Jimmy Fallon era where I'm like, I've got my cup of coffee, I have my like at-home chic interview outfit, and then I get to interview the most amazing people, some of which I am already connected to, like Marley Rose Harris, who is with us today, and also other icons throughout different industries to be able to showcase all of the different ways in which you can bring your vision to life and really blaze a trail of your own. I think that more and more we're starting to see that there's not just one way to do things. And so today, I'm so freaking excited because Marley Rose Harris, who's a dear friend of mine, she is a powerhouse, like truly the essence of an icon. Marley, when I was looking at all of your birthday videos and everything that you did for celebrating 30, I was like, "Oh, she's just so epic." And I wish that we lived on the same continent. But getting to know you over, I think this past year, it's been since maybe about a year or so. I think it's been about a year. I could be wrong. But it feels like it's been a while that we've been connected, and seeing the way that you show up as a woman, as a leader, as a coach, and as a trailblazer within the personal development and the mindset space and the business space as well too has been really, really inspiring for me. And so when I was thinking about who do I want to feature and who do I really want to highlight on the show, you were one of the first person that came to mind. So I'm so excited that we're here together. And before I hand it over to you, I just want to quickly share with everybody who is listening to the replay, listening to the podcast, watching this on YouTube, joining us here live. Icons is a place of collaboration and co-creation. We are literally being graced with the presence of icons in different industries. And so ask questions, be a part of this experience. There's not many times where you actually get to ask directly to people who have done really incredible things. And so use this space to your advantage to answer any questions that you might have, especially as we're going through the conversation. I, of course, have some questions lined up for Marley. There's things that I want to know and my own selfish desires as far as what I desire to receive from this conversation, but you're a part of this as well too. And we're just really, really excited to co-create this space with you and pour into everybody that's in this audience. And so thank y'all for being here. Marley, you are a mindset coach, business coach. You are a 7-figure business owner. I know that you uprooted your life and traveled across the world, lived in Bali, bought a house in Bali. You've scaled multiple businesses to multiple 6 and 7 figures. And so today I'm just so grateful to have you here and just thank you so much for coming on Icons.
I'm like, is she talking about me? You are the sweetest. Thank you so much for such kind words. I feel like, especially as an entrepreneur, you're in your own lane, you're kind of doing your own thing, and to have like things and words like that mirrored back to you is just the sweetest thing ever. So thank you so much for saying that. I am so excited to be here all day. I'm like counting down, I'm like, when is it? When is it? I'm like so excited. I love being in your energy. And I know whenever we're together, we create magic. So I just cannot wait for this next hour with you. It's going to be so much fun.
Yes, me too. And, one of the things that I really respect about how you show up, and I think that this is why one of the big reasons why you have created success in such a rapid way is that you really lead from your heart. There is not a single moment where
Mm,
I've ever interacted with anything that you've created, and I've been following you for a while now. There's not a single moment where I've ever felt like you were thinking about how you could get something out of a post or a story, or looking
mm,
at your work as transactional, or looking at your community as transactional. And, you know, I'm sure you've experienced this because we're all still plugged into social media. It's really easy to feel that from people. And so when it comes across, it can feel a little icky. It can be kind of a turnoff, but I've never felt that from you. And I think that a part of the reason why is, like I said, you really lead from your heart and you're so anchored in service and this grander collective message to change the world. But on top of that, you are so incredible at embodying your higher self in business. And I know that one of your programs is called the Higher Self Method. And so I want to talk about all the different things that you do. But for anybody who maybe would think of the term higher self as woo woo or esoteric, how would you distill it in a way that would make sense, whether you're talking to someone in a boardroom or talking to a fellow coach?
mm. Okay, again, thank you so much for those kind words. So to me, the we all have higher self. So you have a higher self, I have a higher self, and this is like my definition on what I think a higher self is. So I believe that we all come, all of our souls. Again, I'm gonna get a little woo here, but like either you can jump, you can follow me or unfollow me. But I believe we all come here with a soul mission, and our soul comes to planet Earth to learn certain things, meet certain people, experience certain lessons to become your higher self. Like it's almost like a game. Like we start at level 0 and the last level is like you meeting your higher self. And along the way and along the journey, everyone that we meet, every experience that we have, every opportunity that we have is like us getting one experience closer, one level closer to our higher selves and really embodying that version of you. And I believe that your higher self is who you are meant to be. Like I believe that everyone on this planet came here with a soul mission, a soul purpose. And when you start embodying your higher self, that means you start to live out your soul purpose. You start to give service to the world in what your unique service point is. It's when you start living a life that feels aligned to you. And obviously, for everyone, that's different. Like, for some individuals their higher self is becoming the best mom ever. For some individuals it's connecting to nature every day. It's different for everyone. It doesn't have to be this like big grandiose 7-figure entrepreneur. That's not everyone's dharma, and that's okay. So whatever your higher self is, it's unique to you, and I believe we're on this planet to find that journey, to cultivate that, because when you are in alignment with the journey on your towards your higher self, you can feel it. Like I know your story and I know you know mine. We know what it feels like to feel out of alignment and to feel just it's like you can feel it in your body, you can feel it in your soul, you can feel it everywhere. You just know it's like playing a record player and you're like off the groove. Like you're not on the groove and it's just like trying to go around, but you're like, ooh, it just doesn't feel good. But then when you're on the journey to your higher self, it's like it clicks in the groove and things start flowing and you are start to able to move, and then you meet the people, the experiences, the opportunities where you start to then become your higher self. And I know what it's like to feel, anxious, depressed, struggling with, deep mental health, unhappy, unsatisfied, unhappy with where I lived, unhappy with my body, unhappy with my relationship, like unhappy in every area of my life. And it was when I started to make those massive changes in my life. And then, and it really is like that has been the journey to becoming my higher self. And I've come a long way, and there's still so far to go. And I think once you're on that aligned journey, it's just you're constantly headed more and more and deeply cultivating that connection to your higher self. And I believe your higher self is like at the end of the journey and they know the person that you are meant to be. They can see the whole picture. They have the whole book. They have chapters 0 to 100. And it's kind of like this little whisper, this little download, this cultivation of a roadmap of getting you there. So maybe it's like, oh, you should reach out to so and so today, or you should start something called Icons, or you should start your own business. Like these little breadcrumbs that we get fed is like the connection to your higher self and the little like clues on how to get you there.
I love this so much. And, you know, I think that if anything, because I'm deeply spiritual and I'm like, I talk to my higher self. I will sit in meditation and ask my higher self questions and ask to be guided. It's something that I've had to cultivate and build a relationship and kind of like strengthen that trust muscle over time. Because in the beginning, I was a little bit more logical, I was a little bit more analytical. And so it was a little bit harder for me to grasp. But then I started getting that proof. And like you said, that record started spinning. And I was like, wow, this actually allows for me to feel so much more aligned in what I'm doing, happy, things are easier. It feels like all of these things are just clicking into place in ways that I couldn't have forced. I couldn't have predicted this. And I find that whether you use the term higher self or not, there is this essence that you all can connect to or have access to because it all comes back to creating the space to connect to yourself and then building the trust to really listen to like what's coming up for you. Like just this morning, as an example, so I went and toured the social club a couple days ago, and initially I was thinking, oh, well, maybe I'll just go back to Soho House because there's a Soho House in Austin, but I didn't totally love my experience at the Soho House in Austin and canceled my membership. And my mentor and I were talking about, oh, okay, well, maybe I should go back. It's a great place to bring clients. You never know who's like flying in and out. And my gut just kept telling me, like, look for somewhere else, look for somewhere else. And I found this other social club that looked a little bit more bohemian. It was local to Austin, but it just like it pulled me in some way. And so even though logic and maybe a little bit of ego too behind the name Soho House was like, maybe there's an aspect of like, oh, I should be doing this. But my intuition was telling me, like, keep the appointment with the manager of this other social club. Just go tour it. You never know what could happen. Maybe they want to collaborate with you in some sort of way. And I went on Wednesday, and it was the most fun experience I had. I felt so taken care of. The woman that was managing the actual tour of the social club was incredible, and she was asking how we could collaborate and bring my work in there and how we could plug me into different communities that all have my soulmate client. And so I remember also just leaving and messaging my mentor on Voxer and being like, I just feel so excited, it feels so right. And she could hear in my voice and my energy just like that feeling of alignment. And that's just
Mhm.
one example that has opened me up now to all of these different opportunities. And it literally came down to, I can't put my finger on it, but there's something guiding me here. And I know that you've
No.
had so many experiences like that. So I'd actually love to even just like go back to this last year, because I remember seeing a couple months ago that you experienced your most success yet in your business. And it came from you going all in on one thing, which I think, especially in the coaching industry, can be really scary for people. So I want to hear a little bit about how you got to that point and what actually happened and what you experienced through putting your blinders on and really focusing on Freedom Club.
Okay, I have like so many things I want to say about this. This is so timely. I feel like this is what I'm like obsessed with talking about right now. So I'm so happy we're talking about this. I just said this on my podcast this morning, but if you want logical success, be logical. But if you want illogical success, be illogical. And exactly to what you're saying, like maybe logically it's not making sense, but every decision I've made that has been illogical has brought me the biggest alignment, the biggest success, the biggest um holy shit quantum energy. So perfect example, and I can give you hundreds of where I'm like, I felt like, Marley, why are you doing that? That's insane, don't do that. And I'm like, I just feel like I have to do this. And then in hindsight, I'm like, thank God I did that, because that was exactly what I needed to do. And everyone is like, okay, yeah, you were right. But I'm like, I couldn't even explain it because it's our intuition, it's our higher self talking. um Okay, so talking about going all in on one thing. So this was at the beginning of it was near the end of 2022. And I was mentor. And his thing, it was very random mentor for me. It was very masculine, like, here's the system, here's the strategy. He would like make fun of crystals the whole time. And I was just like, what am I doing here? But for some reason I was there. And his thing was like, go all in on one thing. And it's called the model of ones, which means do one product, do one marketing channel, pick one target market, and go all in for 1 year. And that's the fastest way to hit $1 million. And this made sense to me. Like logically, this made sense to me because I was like, oh yeah, then all of it just streamlined all of my marketing. It streamlined all of my ads on my podcast. It streamlined all of the topics that I could go on podcasts about. It just made sense to me. And so for the past 2 years, but mostly last year, I really went all in on Freedom Club. Every month it was all about Freedom Club. Every content piece, every content pillar was all Freedom Club. And this served me. Like that course alone has earned me over 7 figures, which is incredible. And I can't even believe I'm saying that. But I'm going to tell you something which is a plot twist, okay? And you don't even know this yet. So we're hearing it here first. So at the end of last year, I'm not used to saying like this year yet, being a new year. So at the end of last year, I was extremely burnt out. And I actually just took 3 weeks off. I've never in my life ever taken so much time off. Like I took 3 weeks off, but 2 weeks was like off. Like I deleted Instagram, I deleted social media, I deleted my email app, didn't take any calls for 2 weeks. Okay. And on the last of the 2 weeks, for 3 days, I checked myself into what I call a think week. And I do this at the beginning of every year. And I go into like a isolated place and I just think and I reflect on the year and I plan the year. And going into that think week, I was literally like, I don't think I want to work again. Like I was so, baby, I was on honeymoon phase. I was with my boyfriend in the like this part in South Africa. It was gorgeous. I was like,
You
I'm
guys
never
are
working
so
again.
cute too.
Thank you. And I was like, yep, never working again. And I love my business. You know this. I'm so passionate about my business. I love everything I do. So for this, it was very strange for me. It was actually really freaking me out. And I had actually a call with my mentor during my think week, and she was like, Marley, just think about what would excite you to do. And I was like, oh, when your own advice gets mirrored back to you, and you're like, dang it. I was doing things out of should, exactly like what you just said, like what you should do. And and for a period of time, it actually felt aligned and it felt good to do and it felt like exciting and this is what I taught and it felt great. But the thing about business is that not one strategy fits all, just like not one meal plan fits all. And I think the problem in especially the coaching space is that we become a coach and then we look at what the successful coaches are doing and then we just copy what they're doing and expect it to work for us. And then we wonder, why am I not seeing the success that they're seeing? The thing is, that's their unique, I'm going to call it like business blueprint. They know that they need to do what works for them and whatever works for them is going to be successful, but what works for them is not going to work for you. Just like maybe Ava is really good with eating eggs. I can't eat eggs, so I'm not going to eat eggs just because Ava can eat eggs. Just like personally, I don't like doing webinars. I actually despise doing webinars because I personally don't join webinars. I'm a busy girl. I like to get me to sit down for an hour to block on my calendar to watch a webinar live is like not happening. So no wonder I don't like doing them. And then when I do them, I'm not seeing the results that I want to see because the energy behind it isn't aligned. And so my whole new strategy for this year is I'm doing a 1 year experiment, okay? And anything that isn't aligned feels good to do and intuitively lights me up. Like you know that feeling. You know that feeling that like when you go to do something like, oh my God, I'm so excited, like coming on this call today. Like energetically, you can feel probably that I'm excited to be here. I'm not like, hey guys, like what's up? Like I'm like I wouldn't want to be anywhere else. And so that energy gets mirrored back to you. The energy in which you do something is the energy in which it gets mirrored back. So don't think that if you launch a product, but you're actually really unsure if it's good and you don't know if it's going to do well, and then when it doesn't do well, don't be surprised. But when you go into a launch and you know the offer is incredible and you know that it's going to do so well and you're so behind it and it does well, also don't be surprised. So this is why like how I teach business is very from an energetic place. It's very much like whatever you're excited to do and whatever lights you up to do is what you need to be doing, not what so and so is doing, not what Ava's doing, not what I'm doing. It needs to be what feels good to you. Like when you hop on a webinar and you are lit up and you love it and it's like the whole process you love, do webinars. But there is millionaires in every single way, every single thing. So like for example, let's talk about social media strategy. All of us are looking to everyone else and being like, okay, we have to post on TikTok 3 times a day and we have to do that and that's what we have to do. And then you're posting on TikTok 3 times a day and you're like, I'm so burnt out, I'm not seeing growth. And this is what I hear all the time from my clients. They're like, I'm doing this thing but it's not working. I'm like, okay, are you excited to do it? And they're like, no. And then I'm like, what type of content are you posting? They're like, well, I'm doing because this person's doing this. I'm like, stop everything. What would bring you joy to post? And don't do it from an energy of, oh, this is gonna sell. Do it from an energy of, I feel excited to share this with the world. I feel excited to like when you see a cute meme and you're like, oh my god, I can't wait to show this meme to like my friend. Like that's how I want you to feel when you're posting content. And every time I coach my clients on this and they make that shift, their stuff goes viral. Every time I have a client come to me and say, okay, my offer's not going well, I literally am just like, okay, what's unaligned? What's unaligned? And we make the tweaks and then the offer takes off. Everything in our business has an energy behind it. So if it's not aligned, that's why it's not working. And so and then going back to the social media, like I know someone, they literally post maybe once every 2 weeks on the feed. They just post on stories and they have a 7-figure business. So it's like it doesn't matter the strategy. It just matters that what is behind the energy behind what you're putting out to the world is aligned. And when you come at everything from that energy, then that's why things do well. So going all in on one offer worked really well for me until it didn't. Until I was like, I'm actually so burned out and my soul is bored. I'm bored of this. Like I've been doing it for 2 years and I'm bored. So I'm gonna pivot. And then I made some adjustments that everything was like, yes, 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 boom. And then it's like, so now I'm on like, and so this is the year that I'm gonna double my income by literally just messing around and just doing what feels good to do with actually no strategy and just following my intuition every single step of the way. And I'm going to report back at the end of the year on how much I grow. But I have this sneaking, and I know I have a belief around it that it's going to be my biggest year yet because there's going to be no resistance. There's going to be nothing, no should behind my business. It's all going to be aligned, which means I only get met with alignment.
Mm, Marley, oh my gosh, my crown is vibrating. I've got full body chills. When you remove the resistance, that's when you can really soar. Like that's what I just distilled down of that last piece, at least you shared. Like that's the method, that's the way, that's the secret. It's like remove the resistance because if you're forcing, if you're pushing, if you're feeling like resistance to me is also anxiety, it's lack, it's
Mm-hmm.
scarcity, it's doubt. And so
Mm-hmm.
if we're resisting in any type of way, we're not attuned to the right frequency of success. Like success is abundance, it's service, it's fun, it's play, it's overflow. And it's so funny because I feel like the last time when we did our podcast swap last year, we had so many other like similarities and we're just like always on the same path together, which is why I just freaking adore you. I feel the same way about the Academy of Breath. And I love the Academy of Breath, and it's not going anywhere. But over these last 2 months, I think Paige is here with us right now. Paige knows she's on my team. Um, we've been tinkering around with it, trying to figure out what is the way that we can continue to bring this thing that is truly a gift to the world and still offers so much to every single person who goes through it. Keep bringing it to life every single year because there's not a part of my soul that desires to retire it, but allow me to build myself out of it so that I can do the things that are really lighting up my soul, like speaking and events and our retail line and the show and creating a membership that has been kind of in the works for the last like 7 months. And so there's all these other things that I now have the space to do that like I feel so excited. I feel so creative. I feel so playful. And I do think that, and I'm sure that you've probably had to go through this for yourself as well too, that once you get to this stage where maybe your soul is a little bit bored by your business, that there is a grieving process because like what you created is incredible and what you created really served you for a long period of time. And so I know for myself, and I'm curious if you experience this too, there was this grieving process that I had to go through where I was met with a little bit of sadness where I really felt that like AOB was going to be my only thing for like the rest of my life. And it's so funny because I've always had these bigger dreams too, but it's just so interesting how the relationship changes. And as an entrepreneur and a business owner, you have to be flexible and honest with yourself because it will stop working, just like you said.
Mm. I have this mantra that I'm like repeating to myself recently, which is the more I let go, the more I allow in. And so the more I let go of things that are no longer in alignment, the more I allow things to come into my life that are vibrating whole body hell yeses. And exactly like you said, it's really similar to relationships. So when you break up with a partner who you thought was the love of your life that you were gonna marry, and you're like, I thought I was gonna spend the rest of my life with this person. And then you're grieving that identity change, and then you really meet your person and you're like, oh my God, how was I even like questioning? Like, and it's like, so to let go of the old and allow in for the new best thing for you is evidence for me that, like, yes, I do grieve, but I know that if I have this feeling, it just means there's something really good coming in. And I can tell you an experience that I had. So, at the end of 2020, beginning of 2021, I actually let go of my first business. So my first business was a website design business where I designed websites, logos for companies. And same thing, I was bored. I was so over it. And however, this business got me to a place where I was earning more monthly than I ever thought I would even earn in a year. And so to let go of it was so scary. It was like, and this is one of those things where everyone's like, Marley, are you insane? You're not even gonna sell it. You're not even gonna pivot it. You're not even gonna do anything. You're just gonna get rid of this business that is making you multiple six figures. And I'm like, yeah. And terrifying. But it was that voice that you said, where it's like, I just know that this is what I need to do. And I know it's illogical and I don't, it doesn't make any sense. I can't explain it to anyone, but I just know it's what I need to do. And when I let go of that and I pivoted into what I now have, which is my personal mentorship business, that pivot brought me into the most deepest alignment and my dharma, my soul purpose, what I'm here to do, why I'm here with you today, and to be able to live this life which is so much more aligned, so much happy. Again, I don't want to glamorize entrepreneurship because it's not a walk in the park. It's not easy. It's not like, oh, every day every money just pouring in, everything's great. Like, no. But earning money doing what you love to do, I will glamorize that because that's the best thing ever. And to pivot into that and now have this business where I'm fully into alignment and then earning far more than I ever earned in that first business. I want that to be not only my evidence, but evidence for anyone listening that if you're so scared to let go of something that you're is like 80% a hell yes, or like even 95% a hell yes, those are your biggest breakthroughs. When you can let go of the thing that is almost everything that you want and it's still good, but it's not 100% a whole hell yes, on the other side of that is the whole hell yes. And so I did this also in relationship. Like I was in a relationship that was like it was good and I could have spent the rest of my life with that person, but there was something in the back of my mind. I'm like, this can't be it. This cannot be it. There's someone out there that is everything on my list. And my relationship actually is that evidence for me. That and I use that as like my evidence of like, okay, if I can do that in my relationship, I can also do that in my business. I can do that in every area of my life. Because when I let go of that relationship and then now found my person is like, what? There's someone out there that is literally everything on my list and more. And so with and again, I don't want to say I didn't start with making these big crazy leaps as well. Like I didn't start with this big leap of like letting go of this six-figure business and then I started very small. Like I would make little changes in my life where I would like follow my intuition. I'd be like, oh, that worked out. I'd follow my intuition again, and that worked out. And then so when I started to build confidence to trust my intuition. But I would also listen to stories like I'm explaining right now, where I hear other people following their intuition and following a logical sense and it always working out for them. So I share these stories to inspire others. Like you all know you have that little voice in the back of your head that's like telling you, okay, it gets to be better. There has to be something better. I want more. And then you could, oh no, oh no, who am I to have that? The imposter syndrome of like, we can't have it all, or whatever program you've been told. But I'm here to like deprogram you and I'm here to share with you, like, you can't have everything you want. But it's on the other side of saying no to potentially someone that you're still in love with, or someone that, or a business that still earns you six figures, even seven figures, even eight figures, is like those big leaps. I don't even know what the word is for that. Maybe I'm going to write a book about it one day, but it's like those magical moments create the biggest breakthroughs and the biggest hell yeses to come into your life.
Mm. Yes, and I can attest to that as well too. I mean, you know my story. I was married and it was a good relationship on paper. And letting go of that was terrifying, but I knew and I had proof from my business that following my intuition and just trusting in myself was always going to be the way that was going to support me and grant me access into the things that would not just check all the boxes, but also bring me such a deep fulfillment and deep sense of gratitude and peace and love inside. And so I am right on the same page with you. And I think that for anybody that's listening or watching this back, it's scary to trust yourself at first because it is illogical. A lot of times your intuition does not make sense. A lot of times you're going to feel something and know something, and you're not going to be able to explain to someone else. You're not going to be able to tell your partner why you want to invest $10,000 or $100,000 into this new venture, this new business, or you're not going to be able to tell your parents exactly why this perfect dream partner is actually not the dream partner for you, even though he looks great on paper. But if you can feel it and know it inside of your body, that's all the proof that you need. That's all the evidence that you need. And I really do believe that our intuition is God or the universe speaking through us. And that it's not just all on us either. That when we do make decisions that are congruent with where we're being guided intuitively or divinely, that we're opening up the door for more support. And it's when we are too in the logic, too just like it's me against the world, I got to figure this out on my own. That's when we're like blocking ourselves off and build these walls around ourselves to actually receive that unseen support. So it's always just so inspiring. And I think that for anybody, especially when you're earlier on in business, find those expanders. Like Marley, you are such an expander to so many people, to myself included. And it's just been so cool to witness you every step of the way not even be out of alignment, but just continuing to like fine tune your alignment even more and even more and even more. Cause I can say right now I'm in alignment, but I know that there's an even greater level to that. And I think that that's something that's so
Hmm.
beautiful about this soul journey that we're all on is that there's always another level of peace. There's always another level of happiness. There's always another level of creativity and passion and success and abundance. And so I'm curious because there is always another level. What would you say to somebody who struggles to find that satiation or that satisfaction with the level that they're at right now because they are someone who's really excited and inspired to continue reaching for more?
Mm. I actually like resonate with that. There's this saying like be grateful, but never be satisfied. And two edges to this coin, and I've been on both. There was a period of my life where I was never happy because I was always chasing the happiness destination, like having a happiness destination. Oh, when I have the body, I'll be happier. Oh, when I'm here, I'll be happier. Oh, you know. And so that did not serve me because I was constantly waiting for something to make me happy outside of myself. And it was through deep healing, mentorship, all of the things that we do, that I finally came home to myself. And I would feel, honestly, it happened like somewhat recently. I feel like it happened like pretty much at the middle of last year when I was literally like, okay, I am happy. And it's not because I just earned a great amount of money. It wasn't because I had success in business. It wasn't because it was just like I'm just genuinely just happy. And how that cultivated is that I came back home to myself. So I stopped doing things because I felt like, again, going back, I didn't wasn't doing anything because I felt like I should. And I just really started following what felt good and what would feel good to do. So a big actually portion of that personally for me was finding my soul home. So if you know my story, I had been traveling like a nomad for 5 years. I was living in Bali, I was living in Europe, Mexico, da, 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 and I never felt grounded or home. I was never grounded. And I think that feeling of being ungrounded, it's like you're chasing, you're constantly trying to hold on to things like, okay, this will make me happy, or this will make me happy, this will make me happy. And I was always trying to find things to make me happy outside of myself. But then when I really healed like my root chakra, when I really healed like my groundedness and I grounded in, and at the same time, it was like all very serendipitous in the sense of like the day that I decided to make Cape Town in South Africa my home, the day is like I had to heal the feeling of being in one place for a year scared the absolute crap out of me. I was like I felt trapped from that because it was a trauma from having a tumultuous childhood that I was like home is scary. Like home is dangerous. So I never wanted to create a home because home was if I was somewhere for a long period of time, bad things were going to happen all subconscious, obviously. I wasn't like consciously aware of this. But then I started to heal that and I started to heal a lot of my childhood trauma. And then I was like, okay, it's safe to be in one place. And then I started to ground and I started to be like, okay, my nervous system started to calm down. And I realized, I mean, I know everyone is orchestrating this for me. So thank you, spirit gods and everyone involved. But it all happened while I was in Cape Town. And I was like, looking around me, I was like, oh, I'm home. Like this is my home. And so the day that I decided to make Cape Town my home is the day that I found the home that I'm literally living in right now, recording this episode right now. And it also is the day that I met my partner. And so my whole soul, just like when I came back to myself and when I rooted, everything happened from that. Like my family came in, my home came in, my like my where I'm meant to live came in all on the same day. And so basically the takeaway of this story is to stop chasing the things outside of you because those actually things aren't going to make you happy. I thought, oh my gosh, when I make this much money amount of money, I'm going to be so happy and all my anxiety is going to go away. And then I would get there and be like, oh, everything's still the same. And I thought that, because growing up, my parents fought a lot about money, and that's was a huge driver for me to earn money. Because I was like, I never want to fight, so I want to earn money, and then money will never be a problem in life. But it's like that's just not how it is, and it's not the money that we're wanting. It's not actually like the dollar amount in our bank. It's actually the feeling that we think that we're gonna feel when we have the money. But the irony of it all is that when we have that thing, it actually doesn't create that. You need to create that within yourself first, and then you will be able to receive that. And so really understanding that happiness starts from within. Happiness is a choice. And to start really appreciating the things that are around you that make you feel good and adding more of those into your day. So, like, for example, my morning beach walks, I literally like cry most mornings when I'm like walking in Cape Town because I'm just like, I love it so much. And I've been here for almost a year now. And it's just like the little things. And really I'm going on a big tangent because I'm so passionate about this question, but to really stop looking for money or people or your body or things like that to think that that's going to make you happy and start questioning from within, like what are your values and what makes you feel good and appreciating what you already have. And when you come from a state of not needing, you're no longer in survival, that you're an expert in this of like going like calming your nervous system and being rest and digest, and everything else in your life is a bonus energy. Like I have everything that I need. I have a roof over my head, I have food in the fridge, I'm not in survival mode anymore. I am good. Like I actually don't need anything else. I'm good. I'm so happy. That is the most magnetic energy you can ever be in. And that's when everything comes to you. When you're in an energy of need and that puts your body into survival mode, and all of your energy goes into like surviving. There's no energy for thriving. So it really comes down to really telling and knowing that you are okay, that you are not, you are thriving and everything is good, and remind yourself that. That's literally when everything comes from that. When I'm trying, when I'm like thinking about goals, I'm like, okay, I need this goal, and I'm like, I don't need anything. Boom, the thing will like come through.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it's like it's actually like a fun game to play. Actually, like it's hilarious how this stuff works. But really, just to answer your question, I mean, I've been talking for like I think like 30 minutes about this question, but I love it so much. But it's like just coming home to you, and that looks different for everyone. But coming home to you and coming home to me is literally the best thing, and I'm constantly doing it. But that has been and created the biggest catalyst for change out of anything.
Yes. And it's like, it sounds like it's really the day to day of how
Mm,
your days look, what you're doing to fill your day, how you're taking care of yourself, how you're showing up for yourself, the things that you're focusing on. Like those are the things that ultimately will create those feelings or emotions that someone might be associating with making $1 million or getting their dream client or their dream client or dream partner. But it's like we don't, like you said, we don't create the feelings just by receiving the thing. We create
mm,
the feelings first and the thing then comes. And I
mm.
think that, like you, I realized that I was kind of on this hamster wheel with this dangling carrot in front of me. And I remember just getting to a point and looking around and being like, oh my God, like I literally have every single thing that I've ever asked for, but it doesn't feel like it's enough. And see him move in energy. And that was a big wake up call for me where I'm like, I'm so grateful that I woke up and was able to look around and see
Mm.
that because who knows how far you go on that path. I mean, look at how many miserable millionaire and billionaires there are. Like I love the Kardashian show. I really truly do. And
Me too.
Chloe, you are going to be one of my clients one day. I'm putting it out there because I watch her and I'm like, you are so beautiful. You're so funny. You're so talented. You've created such a beautiful family. You have so much love to give. And like, I adore Chloe Kardashian. And I can just tell that there's so much pain. And I know why there's
Mm,
the pain there, but it's like when we don't work on doing this work while we're growing, while we're experiencing the success, then you're going to look around one day and be like, what is this all for? And I think that that's like the thing that I'm most passionate about too, where how do we like have fun and have the time of our lives and like let ourselves feel the things that we want to feel because the reality is if you're listening to this, you've got a roof over your head, you've got a cell phone in your hand or a computer where you're watching it on, you're probably snacking on something or drinking a matcha. Like you've got the basics met, and that's already enough. And so everything else, like
mm.
you said, is a cherry on top. Marley, I'm so curious with your like healing work and the different practices that you bring in, if you were to look at like a year laid out, because I've got a lot of friends that will do they'll do their ayahuasca journeys, they'll do their mushroom journeys, and they'll do them like pretty religiously too, where it's like, all right, beginning of the year, I'm doing this thing, or beginning of the year, I'm going and working with this healer. I'm curious for you, what do you have like kind of a like yearly ritual or different things that you that are kind of like non-negotiables for you as it relates to healing, subconscious work, and just overall pouring into your evolution through different modalities and different tools.
Mm. Well, like I mentioned, at the beginning of every year, I do a think week, and I also do these every quarter. So every quarter, I will take myself away somewhere, and I will take like 3 or 4 days. I need to think. It's like a think moment, not a whole week. But I will debrief on the quarter, plan the quarter, and just have thinking time. My biggest breakthroughs, my biggest healing moments are when I'm like alone, silent, not plugged into anything, on airplane mode. Like on my think week this year, one day I was just unplugged, and I've never had so many breakthroughs in one day. It was magical. So there's so much power in just silence and just thinking time. And I think because we live in a society where we're constantly scrolling, we're like, it's like nervous system overload. We get disconnected from our intuition. So it was like a huge thing for me is like cultivating my intuition hygiene, which is having thinking time in the morning, like meditating completely in silence, walking in silence. Like that's actually the secret sauce for me. That's when I have my hits. That's when I have my ideas that like I'm not like right now I'm so present with you that I'm not thinking of like, oh, what, there's no downloads coming in. And when I'm with people and surrounded by people, I'm so present that I'm not having those downloads. But when I'm alone and I'm thinking, those are when my million billion dollar ideas come through, literally. So that is a huge thing for me. Those quarterly think weeks are, I think, days are a huge thing for me. And then working with my own mentors, honestly, like there's this saying like a masseuse can't freaking rub their own back. A hairdresser cannot cut their own hair. And for me, seeing my own blind spots, I can't see them. And so, really investing in mentors who are where I want to be, who call me out on my limiting beliefs and help me clear them, has been my biggest catalyst for change. I'm not just saying that because I'm a coach, but I'm honestly like as you know, like I'm a very authentic person. I would never sell something if I knew it didn't work. I would never do something if I like. So working with like mentors, like I have one who I want to call it like an energetic, spiritual, limiting belief clearer guru. I don't even. She's the most magical person in the entire world. So working with Dr. Teki, working with other coaches. I just hired another business coach, and then also using rapid resolution therapy. It's actually one of my favorite healing modalities. So when I notice like a pattern come up or a thought that's like, or I'm hitting a plateau in business, or I'm noticing like resentment towards someone, or whatever it may be, like rapid resolution therapy has been the most insane healing modality I've ever used, to really clear beliefs. Because I know that the only reason why we don't have something yet is because we're not a congruent match for it, which means consciously we could want it, but subconsciously it's a disconnect. It's a subconscious conscious disconnect. So the whatever goal I'm looking to achieve, I will work with healers, mentors, whatever, to align with that goal, to change my belief so that I can be a connect for that goal. So it's really just like working with people who are where I want to be and who can see and help me see the big picture and help me clear any blocks so that I can quantum leap and, get to the place where they are way faster.
Yes. And I think the thing that I want to like point out about it, that is like working with somebody that's where you want to be. It's not always even relative
Mm.
to like financial success either. Like I think about my mentor that I work with and have worked with for 5 years now. So much of our work,
Wow.
yes, we are doing attunement in like business and success and how I see myself and leadership and all that identity work. But so much of why I work with her is so that I can really stay anchored in my heart and to really be a
Mm.
channel for change. And so when I think about why I'm hiring her, it's not because I want to make as much money as her. I don't even know how much money she makes.
Mm.
And so for me, it's less about I need to get to this success level as you or financial level as you, but more so I really see the qualities of how you lead and how you live your life and who you are that I want to
Mm.
cultivate more of in myself. And then I have other mentors for other things. I have other people that I do hire because they're making 8, 9 figures in their business. And so I think that it is important to know that there are always going to be people there that are going to support you. And also, we are the sum of the people that we surround ourselves with. And, you know, I agree with you. I think sometimes in the coaching industry, we can hear a lot from people like, you have to have a coach. But like, if we look back, like historically, mentorship has been around since the dawn of time. Like, I think about like in philosophy and science and astronomy, like all of those philosophers and, people that I can't even think of their names right now because history was not my strong suit. They all had mentors, right? Like Pluto was a mentor. I don't know. And not the dog, y'all, not the dog.
Einstein.
Plato, not Pluto. Thank you. Oh, that's so
Thank you.
embarrassing. Well, I am not a history major, so but mentorship has been around since the dawn of time. And so I think that it can often be overblown and a lot of people are kind of latching onto it as a sales tactic. But if you really like are listening to this conversation and hearing one, just like even being a part of this conversation, like this is what being surrounded by people that have done the damn thing feels like, because it expands you. It has you thinking differently. It has you looking at things from directions that you maybe never would have looked at it before. And to me, environment and my circle is the most important piece of my energy work and how I feel. Because if I'm surrounded by people who are negative, or I'm surrounded by people who are really stuck in their limiting beliefs, or are really playing small in their life. Like I have, obviously, there's people in my life who aren't in this space or aren't dedicated to personal growth or aren't spiritual. And I see them and I still connect with them, but they're not people that I'm with every day. They're not people that I'm connecting to every single day. And so I feel like it's such an important conversation because it really does influence and alter how you feel and how you think. And it's not that you can't maintain these conversations or these beliefs around those people. It's that it just means you have to work a little bit harder versus being
Mm,
really deliberate about who you surround yourself with, what you are consuming, and whether that be actual food or information and energy. And I think just because we are at the beginning of this year, looking at the year ahead and saying, you know what, I'm going to do the things that don't have resistance tied to it or that feel really aligned for me. Just like Marley was saying, like, I feel like this is such a great conversation to kick off the year because it just helps get people back to center in whatever
mm.
way that looks for them. And, I love that you shared about RRT because that's something that I'm still really, really excited. I still haven't done it yet since our last conversation, which I feel like is just so silly that I haven't done it yet.
Yeah.
But I wanted to ask because your app is coming out, and actually, the when this episode goes live on the podcast and on YouTube next week, it will be officially like I think like 3 or 4 days before your event that's happening on Monday, January 22nd. And so
Yes.
this is going to be a launch of like a launch event for your app. I want you to share a little bit about your app. I'm so excited because going back to what I was just saying, like environment and the energy that you are cultivating every single day is going to be the thing that influences you the most. So, can you share a little bit about your app and what's included? Is RRT on it? Am I downloading it immediately? Like, tell me all about it.
Oh my God. Okay, so this has been 2.5 years in the making, this freaking app. So it came from this. So one of the big tools that I use is hypnosis. Hypnosis has been the catalyst for me rewiring every limiting belief that I've ever had, and like every change in terms of like my body, my money mindset, my relationship, everything. And I was on the app store one day and I was like, my mentor at the time sent me this link to her hypnosis app. And I was like, it was the most like clunky, like ugly, like I was like, no, no, no. There has to be a nicer hypnosis app. Like, we have Headspace, we have Calm, meant for meditation. I'm like, where's the hypnosis one? And I was like, oh my gosh, there's nothing. And I was like, okay, that's interesting. Didn't think anything of it. And then it was like a couple days later, I was asking the universe, like, okay, I'm here to do big things. Like, show me my next thing, show me my next thing. And I woke up with this idea of like, you're gonna create a hypnosis app. And I was like, that's it. And I'll spare you the whole story, but we went through a bunch of iterations, blah, blah, blah. But at the beginning of last year is when I went all in. I hired a developer, I hired a brand designer, and I went completely all in on this app. And I really wanted an affordable and accessible way for my community and new members of my community to start to heal and rewire their subconscious mind. I lost my dad to mental health. Mental health is so close to my heart. I've struggled with mental health. I've seen people, loved ones around me struggle with mental health. And, you know, to have something in your pocket that is there for you when you feel anxious, when you feel stressed, when you feel overwhelmed, or when you feel happy and you want to connect to your higher self and you want to heal your money mindset and you You want to break free of the programs that you've been programmed and you want to become your higher self is why I created the app. I wanted a way to reach the masses, to heal the masses, to have an easy and actual way that works, not just a band-aid solution, not just something that is going to actually make things worse, actually something that's going to make things better, even in one track. Breakthroughs in one track, breakthrough healing and uncoupling, years of programming, years of limiting beliefs in one session. So the app is going to be a medley of hypnosis, meditation, RRT. I've created my own healing method to heal and rewire limiting beliefs, and it's all in the app. So it's how to release the guilt of spending. It's how to build confidence to show up online. It's how to attract your soulmate. It's how to release the weight. It's how to believe in your abundance. It's how to rewire your money mindset. It's literally everything that I've done in my whole life to change every area of my life, to manifest my soulmate, to manifest my soul home, to manifest my dream body, to manifest, becoming a seven-figure entrepreneur coming from literally nothing. And so I know if I can do it, there's nothing special about me. I didn't get lucky. If anything, I was dealt all of the cards that to learn how to get and heal so that I can help others heal. So that's why I created the app. I'm obviously, as you can probably see, very passionate about this. I've been working on this for so long, and I cannot believe it's going to be here on the 22nd. So on the 22nd, we're doing the launch event, and it's, come one, come all. I'm going to do a live healing on the call so you can experience what it's like to heal. And it's going to be around money because my biggest topic is how do I heal my money mindset? Everyone wants more money, more freedom. So I'm going to do a live experience on the call so you can experience it. But the app is a 7-day free trial. So you can jump in the app, check it out, and get to experience the transformation on your own and really start to finally heal and rewire all of those limiting beliefs that you've been programmed so that you can start to live your dream life, your freedom life, and in a very easy, accessible, affordable way. I really know that it's going to be a thing, the catalyst for so much change in this world. And I cannot freaking wait. I cannot wait.
Yes, I'm looking at the landing page right now, and I don't think anybody can see this because my phone is kind of far away. Maybe I'll put it close because this is for the launch event page. So everyone go to the show notes and sign up. But one, it's beautiful. I love that there's courses in here that say 30 days to improving your sleep, 30 days to self-love and confidence, 30 days to attract more money, to reduce anxiety, to reduce stress. Like there's so much in here. It's so beautiful. And I just feel like this is the thing that is going to also make this work much more accessible because it's not
Mm-hmm.
just this woo-woo explanation of practices. Like it feels very it's beautiful, it's spiritual, it's heart-centered, and also it feels accessible. Like it feels like if I were 23 years old and stumbled upon this and had no idea about spirituality or like didn't know what the word intuition was or even use the term abundance, that I would be like, ooh, this is cool. I love this. I want to be a part of this. So I just am so excited to experience this for everybody that's listening. Like I said, go to the show notes, sign up for this event so that you can get an experience, get the demo, get the 7-day trial. When does the app officially launch? Does it launch officially on the 22nd too?
Yeah.
Let's go. Amazing. This is so
I,
cool,
I literally
Marley.
can't wait.
I'm so proud of you. I'm so excited. So for everybody listening, like I said, we're going to put this in the show notes, but can you just share where we can get in touch with you, find you, work with you, do all of the things and just fall in love with you?
Okay, so I feel like my love is deepest on my podcast, the Money Mindset and Manifestation Show. But you can find me everywhere at Marley Rose Harris on TikTok. I'm loving TikTok actually right now, Instagram, and then all of my offerings, everything is on marleyrose.ca.
Amazing. Thank you so much for being a part of this conversation. This was so much fun, and it's always just so great to connect with you. And I know that so many people are going to get so much value from this because these are the conversations that can change everything. So I'm just so grateful. Thank you for coming on.